Hi, this is Jen Gibbs with Utah Shores Real Estate Services, and this is a portion of Seller University to inform you and keep you updated. And today we are talking about earnest money and what that means to you as a seller. So basically, earnest money is something that will be coming in from the buyer with their offer. They will say, hey, we are so serious about buying your home that we're willing to put up a certain amount of money at risk. And if we don't do and perform as we say in the contract, then you can have our money as liquidated damages in compensation for taking your home off the market while we were intending to buy it. So basically that money is going to be held at the title company or at the brokerage here, and if they don't perform according to what they say they will in the contract, then that money becomes yours because you have not let anyone else tour or offer on the property during that time. So basically there's a couple of things that we'll want to watch for. And the first is, as a seller, in the contract you agree to provide the seller disclosures within that deadline. That's the first deadline of the real estate contract. So you'll want to make sure you watch that deadline. If you're working with us as our listing with us together, then we'll probably have those disclosures already taken care of right from the beginning. We like to do those up front so you don't have homework later in the transaction. And so those are probably in, and we'll make sure we get those to the buyer right away since that's our first contract deadline. Second will be the buyer's due diligence. So they have until 5 o'clock on this date in our contract that they can do any kind of inspections, take a look at where the snow is going to fall, zoning, parking, any kind of random thing that makes them uncomfortable with the purchase. They can go ahead and walk away with their earnest money before the deadline. Once 5 o'clock on that day passes, and if they decide for one of those reasons to withdraw their offer, the earnest money becomes yours because you've taken the property off the market for them. And so that's how that works. We'll run into the same situation again at financing and appraisal. And so that's a deadline that we'll watch closely for your own protection. And basically they have until 5 o'clock on the financing and appraisal deadline to make sure they have their loan in place, that they can get their down payment together, that the appraisal comes in at an agreeable rate. If they want to negotiate on any of those kinds of things, the time to do that is before the deadline. If after the financing and appraisal deadline they say, well, never mind, we decided we wanted to, we're not going to have our money down put together by the deadline, they would either need to extend that and we continue with the transaction, or if they walk away after that financing and appraisal deadline, that earnest money becomes yours because, again, you've taken your home off the market and not allowed anyone else to offer you on that property. And in compensation for doing that, then the money would become yours. Same thing at settlement. They do agree to sign those papers by the deadline, and earnest money comes into play right there. So hopefully that makes sense. It's going to be held most likely at our brokerage because that's the easiest way to facilitate it coming in and out and being recorded. If you have any questions, then please feel free to reach out to a member of our team. Just so you know, at closing, since this is the buyer's money, as long as they've kept their word and continued in the transaction, it will go towards the buyer's closing costs. So this earnest money does not come to the seller on top of the price that they have agreed to pay you. It will, in the end, assuming it closes properly, then you'll go ahead and get the price negotiated as the purchase price, and they will go ahead and get their earnest money towards their closing costs and down payment. So hopefully that makes sense. Again, please reach out if you have any questions. We're happy to help you understand your specific situation.